in this video, we're going to start adding some content. So we're going to add, obviously, some images, some text. Unless we've done this wireframe or you have like a really strict template you're working with, I mean, most likely you're just going to be kind of adding text and images as on the fly and kind of as you kind of experiment. So that's what I'm going to suggest that you do. If you want to, do a wireframe, I deleted that page. If you want to do a wireframe and really kind of figure out where the text and the images are going to be placed on the page, by all means do that. But I'm just going to start adding images and text and seeing kind of as it goes. So in this video, we're just going to kind of add some placeholder text, add a few images, and kind of go through what that's going to look like, because we haven't added a whole bunch of text yet. We obviously have all of this text to add, and so I want you to do this in a very kind of professional and systematic way. That's not just kind of piecemeal and unprofessional and amateurish. So we're going to start doing that. We're going to do something called threading. I have the word here, thread. No, I don't have it here. Yeah, thread. And that's something that's going to be probably new to most of you, if not all of you. And it's going to be kind of quite interesting. So threading is where we have text within multiple text frames. So you can see when I click on this article that I've already created, these kind of lines appear between the text frames. Those are called threads. And I can actually turn them on and off by going extra here, and I hide the text threads. So if I don't want to see them, I can unview them here, show text threads. And that's basically a way for you to add text between columns and margins and text frames and not have to copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Now, we would never just like copy and paste a single paragraph and then copy another paragraph and copy another paste another paragraph. The reason is because we could accidentally forget to copy and paste one. So InDesign, obviously, we don't want to ever forget or mess up anything up. Ultimately, most of us are not creating. We're not Alice Bell. We're not writing this article, and so we have to be incredibly careful and diligent about making sure that we don't copy and paste or have the wrong text. Obviously, we're writers and copywriters. They update text on the right before it gets printed, or an hour before it's finalized. And so sometimes we have to do things like add just text columns. So I'm just going to add some text columns here on my text layer, and we don't have the text yet, and so we just have to add what we call dummy text. Is this going to work? Oh, I already have it. Oh, I already have a text frame there. Whoop, where am I? Did I just mess that up? I already have a text frame there. So occasionally we just have to add some placeholder text or dummy text. And that's just a way for us to, before we have all of the text finalized, or we don't have it at all, we can just start to add some text. Now, this just gets put in as Minion Pro without any line breaks. And so we need to maybe add some things or finesse the typography. But this is a way for us to just kind of have some dummy or some placeholder text to start working with the layout, say before we are given the final or even just the near final or the draft copy. Now, we are going to be working with columns. So this is a text frame within some columns, and we're actually going to be working with a lot of text. So this is obviously a 6-page magazine article, and we're going to be putting text throughout these spreads. And we're going to be threading text. So just like you see in this one, where we have this text kind of moving between text frames, we're going to do that as well. So you'll notice that at the bottom of this text frame, there's actually this little box with an X through it. That's called an outport. So if I use my selection tool, zoom out a little bit, and I click on that outport, you'll see that what happens is my cursor becomes loaded with additional text. So now if I go click, hold, and drag, I'm just going to drag a column maybe about that wide. And you'll see that it automatically, that's just the placeholder text, so it's not going to generate more. But if I go type and I kind of fill with placeholder text, it will automatically generate a whole bunch more placeholder text. Now, what's great about threading, another thing that's really great about threading, if I show the threads, the color is based upon your layer color. So threading is fantastic because you'll notice that when I say I enlarge or decrease the size of a frame, text automatically gets rearranged. If I so you never ever have to worry about ever again misplacing or not having all the text there. Now, InDesign is very diligent about doing this too. When that little box appears, that means in this case it's going to mean that there's overset text, meaning that there's text within that frame that I cannot see. Now, as soon as I decrease this text frame and I create some overset text, meaning there's more text in this frame than we can see, that little output appears, and then we get this error in our little, this is called a pre-flight. So if I double click on that, and I kind of double keep selecting, it will jump to where the issue lies. So as soon as I enlarge that frame, that error disappears and I no longer have overset text. I can delete frames, that overset text icon appears, but as soon as I enlarge it or expand it and make sure that that overset icon or that output icon is no longer there, I now have no overset text. So you can delete text or text frames, you can move them around, you can resize them, you can thread text, you can thread them to a whole nother page, a whole nother section. You know that like continue on page 110, that's what this thing is allowing us to do quickly and easily. Even if I rearrange the pages in my pages window, InDesign, because these are threaded, will rearrange the text as well. So you don't need to know too much about that, but you can see that that's what happened here. It rearranged it. I can see now the thread is between those, and if I rearrange the pages, now the thread is maintained. So very, very, very handy, and it's something that we're going to do in this exercise. But we're not going to use dummy text. We're going to use the real text or the real text I have here, and I'm going to copy and paste just the copy and not the header or the title and the name of the writer, and just to make sure that I'm following the instructions that I have laid out for you. Yeah, so let's just do that. So I'm just going to get all this text in here. I'm just going to select all this text, but not including the name or the title and the name of the author. Just going to select this. Now, InDesign, actually, I'm gonna copy and paste this, but InDesign also has the ability, just so you know, to place text as well. Now, because it's a Google Doc, it might not do it, but if I have this exported as a Word doc or plain text doc, I'm just gonna call it plain text. There it is, and I'm just going to locate this so I know where it is. So this is in my downloads. So in InDesign, I can place anything, including copy. So if I just copy, delete all of that, and I go File, Place. Now this is often a way that we do it as well, and the reason why we might place text is just like when we place an image, say the photographer or the artist or the writer or the copywriter, whoever, or the editor is updating the text or the image, it will automatically, if we have it placed or linked, it will, why isn't it showing me the link info for that? Oh, I thought it would show up as well. This doesn't seem to be doing that. If I go File, Place, I thought it would show up in the links window, but I'm not sure if I'm doing that correctly then. What that means is, say, for instance, I'll just update some of the text here. If I open that, and then say, for instance, I'm just going to delete some of it and then save it, and then go back into my InDesign document, and then I need to update I thought it would update automatically. So I'm doing this wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing this wrong. So if I go, yeah, there's an error here. Yeah, the text, it's overset. So no, I'm not really sure. I thought it would automatically update and self-generate and automatically change the copy. So I'm obviously doing that wrong. So kind of forget what I'm saying about that, please. I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to use the text that I have here, and I'm just going to copy that and put that in my InDesign document. So copy and paste that. Okay, so I've copy and pasted it, like I said, not including the title and the name of the author. And then I'm just going to thread the text. So meaning that I'm just going to make sure this is on the right page, make sure it's in the right layer. Good, good, good. I'm just going to expand this frame slightly, and then I'm going to actually delete, well, I can delete that one, or I could have moved it around. I'm going to click on this outport here, or this overset text frame or icon here, and I'm just going to, just start adding those text boxes. And we're going to change this and do some, design to it eventually. But for now, I'm just going to get some text frames in there so you can kind of see it in action. And make sure that you are, if I zoom in, make sure that those frames are on. It's not always doing it perfectly. Make sure that they're aligned to those columns and that they are aligned to those margins. And that you have that nice gutter between them. So don't kind of just have your text frame within columns and rows. Have them aligned to those columns and rows, meaning that you have that nice spacing. So there's a row, and that's the next row. And if you want to, say for instance, have, if I want to change this thread, all I have to do is unlink it here and have it start again here, and it will automatically generate that thread, which is so handy. But if I have it, if I have, say, a space down here, make sure that that is, if I zoom in, make sure that is on, not placed within a gutter, but I have that nice, that spacing. So don't have it kind of in between rows, don't have it in between gutters, and don't have it within a gutter as well, but have it on either these rows here or those column rows, as opposed to kind of anywhere you want it. Just make sure that you maintain either that spacing of that gutter. Now, if you want it, move it over, that's fine. You could have like a column and a couple gutters in between. Just make sure you maintain that spacing between the margins and the gutter. And we're doing that because that creates that consistency, that structured layout, in order to ensure that this layout is super polished and, I zoom in, and professional looking. And it's still not quite getting onto the column grid there. So we're going to put all the text in here. We can change it after. We're going to add a whole bunch of text, or add all that text and a bunch of images. So I'm just going to go ahead and start doing that, and you go ahead and start doing that and start adding some images. And the next video, just make sure that I have this on track. The next video, we're going to do some styles, and then I want to add some images. Actually, we haven't added all the images, so in the next video, I'm going to add some images, not do the styles yet. Add some images, because that's going to show you when we're going to use that, also that object style of that image fitting for the images.